I'm going to zoom in here. That is the roof of Fordham University. I don't know if you can see where we are. Zoom in on that sign. Can't see it yet, but it's Webster Avenue and 197th Street. Here's the top of Fordham University. Now here, just around the corner, pretty interesting stuff. Garden Theater. And it's the same trend you can see there. New bricks in the front, old bricks in the back, and there's a pretty clear line delineating the new bricks. You can see they come out. It's a brick face, it looks like, put on top of the old bricks, and you have the same brick face in the back. And this Garden Theater here, the arch there, you can actually see that window is also, the glass window is square, but the frame is an arch. So there's an arch on that frame right there. Now this is where it gets a little more interesting, because the Bronx can be really hilly. A lot of hills around the Bronx, and kind of the foothills almost of the New York mountains, but it's fairly level. It has a dip. It goes down a little, goes down a little bit there. There's train tracks that are raised back up, and that's Fordham right there. But what I'm interested is in back here, behind this fence, it goes way down. We're gonna walk around the corner now. You can see the fancy architecture on the building, the new brick face in the front. And again, this is 197th Street, over by Potts, part of the solution. I just had a free lunch. So we're on East 197th Street, Webster Avenue. And it's hard to see, but so what's interesting here, this building, again, it's hilly. Now we're going uphill, and this door is pretty flush with the ground, but let's see what's down this grate. There's a doorway. I don't know if you can make it out. I can see it. There's a door down there. And more giant windows, actually. Giant windows that have been bricked up. There's another giant window frame with bricks in front. That looks like a big doorway. And here's where it gets really interesting. If you look behind the building, it goes down an extra flight. So they put this here so you can't see, and in the front also. But the same thing, new bricks in the front, old bricks in the back, arched windows. So this is a pretty old building. And it's hard to see, but it goes down another flight there. So it keeps going. You can kind of see from here, it goes down one flight, and then there's another stairwell that goes down another flight there. Let's see if you can see. I can't look over there. I had to raise my arm. But all right, so we're going up the hill now, and just there are a lot more houses like this. Like if you look in here, behind there, the street doesn't go down that far. It goes down maybe one flight, and you can see by the way the sidewalk is done. Bronx, there's a sign, a wall art, a mural for the Bronx Museum there. But goes down. It's hard to see back there. But yes, doorways flush with the floor. This was probably the second floor of this building. These window frames. A lot of this is kind of like Art Deco almost. But we're gonna walk around. Usually when I walk through here after I eat lunch at the Bronx, I'll go up those stairs. Today I'm gonna walk past them. It's a really interesting stone wall here. And so there are a lot of hills around here. But what it looks like is the hills on the outside at street level don't match up with the depth of the buildings between. Like that one goes down deeper than this one, And you can almost see over that fence that goes down curiously. So they're all at different levels. And you know, some of these buildings they might be pre-war tenements, but they look newer than, say, 19th century. They're at least 20th century. But quite often, buildings may have been. One of the points that I raised in my last video is ancient cities. When they're excavating archaeology, they'll find another city buried under the first one. So here's some more. Goes right down. And then this is a school that was built up. This is PS 54. This is pretty much at street level. And there are these big walls. So you can't see. We just looked down the stairs that it actually goes down. You can't tell because it's hidden. There's a lot that's hidden here. It's hidden behind these brick walls. So these are all new bricks here. And then if you look up, old bricks. So again, new bricks in the front on top of old bricks. And they put some kind of face on the building there to cover up the old bricks, it looks like. You can't really get an idea of the age. These look like they were flower pots. Was it an entrance before? Or was it just full with cement? And before, are there more windows down there? It's curious. You wonder, because that's the trend. You'll find windows underneath the windows with the grates in them. It's another building. So you can see the buildings are built into the side of the wall here. But I'm going to go up 195th Street, and we're going to see from this street level, even though these are a little bit sunken, here's a deeper driveway there, a little bit sunken. When you go back, the alleys in between the buildings are way deeper, much deeper under the street level, even with the hills. So this hill is at one level. We're going to keep going up the hill and find that if you peer down the alley, it goes much deeper. So this is an interesting structure right here. All these are new bricks, presumably on top of old bricks. So new brick face with old bricks behind it. And there are windows at street level practically right there. It's a window, not a doorway. Again, these main entrances now with the stairs going up. See, those are windows behind there. You can actually see the light. I don't know if you can see the light, but I can see it. So that is like a maybe ventilation. There's a little cat. Lots of cats in this neighborhood. Hi, kitty, kitty. So I was just here a moment ago and looking down. I got the wrong one. But you can see the same thing, the old bricks in the back, new bricks in the front. And I think this was it. If you look down here, the hill there doesn't go down that far. The alley goes much deeper than the descent of the hill. That was it. It's really tough to do this discreetly. I'm doing a live video, just talking to the camera. All right, thanks. Doing the architecture. So you poke down there, and that's how deep it goes, all the way down. So there's a new parking lot there, elevated above where the old alley is. You can see the windows at the bottom have the arches. It's much older architecture than that you would expect to see. There's more cats. And the cats are really handy because what they do is they keep the rodents away. We have a big pest problem in New York City. Might do a video of the subway rats sometime. Anyway, so this is another one where the entrances are below street level. You can see some really interesting old stone walls right here. This one goes up. The main entrance goes down here. And there's a few like that. This is one. This entrance goes up, but there's also entrances below. And if you see down there, just a door and an entrance. This is another really interesting one right here across the street. They don't have the arched windows, but what they have are the entrances going down. You have the alley, which is, if you look, it keeps going deeper. And because of the hills, we're actually at the roof level of a building a few houses away, but it's not that tall a building. So this one goes right down. And then as you come around, again, you can see the difference, new paint on top of old bricks. There's a few, so I'm getting them mixed up. I mean, even this old building has the trend because of the hills. And so it's kind of interesting to look for the difference where this looks like a modern building. You can still see the foundation is set lower. And you wonder, is it just because of the hill, or are these actually new bricks on top of an old building? Like that one right there, you can see the dark red bricks are new. And the looks like the foundation is look at those are old stones. That's an old stone wall with bricks on top of it. So it's hard to get around up here. There's a lot more space in the Bronx, but people don't want you around. So you can see the windows there. They're not arched, but they have the little triangles on top, the little pyramid emblem. So how old are these buildings, you wonder? See, no loitering, no trespassing. Look how deep that goes. It says loitering or trespassing you'll be arrested by the police department. So you know, I always laugh at the surveillance state. I got stopped by the police one time. He told me to put the camera down, and luckily, by some chance of fate, the cop in charge of the troop was, here's arches. These windows all have arches on them. See that? The glass is square windows, but the frame of the building, the brickwork, is all arched. So anyway, the cop points to his chest. He shows me he has a camera on. He says, and I have a camera on. I had already put my camera away, so here's another one. New stairs, old door. This is the one one of the ones I was looking at before. But it's the same thing. Who's to say there's not another level beneath this one? That one seems to have the stairs on the outside, not on the inside. So I just found it amusing because the police don't release their video. If they had, they may be wearing a camera, but that video isn't released to the public. And I didn't say anything. I was like, yeah, but I control my camera. I don't control your camera. See, now here's arches, and they look like they were filled in. See if we can capture that. So there's the arches in the brickwork on that floor. And we're on, I think we're on Briggs Avenue now. We got off of, and then up Decatur. And this should be Briggs Avenue. So yeah, so there's some more of this old architecture. Doors going down. And then, likewise, you can actually see it looks like old bricks there behind the new bricks. But they kept the arches, interestingly, on that old structure. So here's one, the entrance goes down below street level. And you can see there's a couple stairs right there. And more of the same. New bricks in front of the old bricks. So when were these buildings built? When were they renovated? It's hard to say. What I can tell you is a lot of the alleyways are blocked up. You can't see behind the alley. There's a little store, a little restaurant right there. In front of that alley, we were seeing big fences, gates, and again, it's a solid fence. It's not a barred fence where you can look in between the bars. And most of that is more likely to be for security. See the old brownstone houses with the stairs going up to the second floor. It's the main entrance and the basement apartment underneath. I thought they were just built like that, underground. I know a frost wall has to be something like 4 or 6 feet under. So this is one of these old pre-war tenements. They have the steps going up, but there's a window. Here are the stairs going down, and it's interesting because of the hills. It's highly debatable. Bronx is very hilly, so there's the alley going back. And then right next to it, a parking lot that's built up. But is that just paved over a mud flood, you wonder? And again, the surveillance state, you know, the police telling me they have a camera. I don't control their camera. I control my camera. And, you know, I don't have time to file a Freedom of Information Act every time I have a dispute about the police. New York City police, known to lie about anything. I was saying they're pretty good about racism. I don't know if I said that or if I just, I think I commented that somewhere, that they don't care if you're white, they'll still beat you up. Now, this is pretty interesting. Here's some more of the arches. And again, the original brickwork has the arches. And then the window frame is filled in there. So we're now on 194th Street, and I believe this is Bainbridge. Yeah, 194th and Bainbridge. So this is the way I came. There's the Grand Concourse right up there. I don't know if you know about it. There's the Edgar Allan Poe house, where Edgar Allan Poe lived. It's right in this neighborhood, kind of spooky. Some of the doorways still have the arches in glass here. You can see it's a glass arch there. Glass arch, glass arch, glass arch. This one has some of the glass intact in the arch, the way they're doing it. But again, this fence around, there's the stairs going down, right down. And this fence around the, where the house is, look, there's bricks. There's more bricks under there. Do you see that? So it's just curious. And they're older bricks than the new ones on top. It looks like the bricks have been plastered over. But, or cemented over. So here there's this fence, and you don't know, I imagine there are more windows that have been covered up, but just on the next side, now it goes down, and there's a door here, more windows. So it's quite imaginable that there would be windows there covered up by the new brickwork, because those are all new bricks on top of old. I'm willing to wager all we have to do, walk around the side of the house. See here, there are arches again on the windows that have been refitted with square windows. And sure enough, new bricks on top of old. And look at how deep down it goes. 1 story down right here. An extra story beneath that one, or the same, just a different level. So it's hard to say. Hard to say. Yeah, it looks like it's going down 2 flights, because you have this flight down, right? And you have another flight down. And here, there's no real hill. The hill is not that steep here. So it's hard to say. Here's Homeland Surveillance with the Tartarian eagle with the eastern facing head cut off. So I'm back on Marion Avenue, but I'm going to go back up. I just wanted to take the walk around to show with this fence work around the building how it covers the old windows, the old entrances. Sure enough, here are old windows that have been refitted with block glass. So all right, I'm going to keep walking on Bainbridge. That was it. It goes from Decatur to Marion to Bainbridge, and then Briggs. And I'm on 193rd Street between Marion and Bainbridge now. And I'm going to stop when I get to the Bronx Library Center, which is on Kingsbridge Road, right at the tip of Briggs, when you get to the end of it, around 192. So I may have missed the turn, but that's all right. There's some interesting work over here. Again, these windows don't have the arches, but they have the deep, they have the first floor underneath ground level again. And you can see it going down there from street level. And the nice thing about this location is that it has a chain link fence. And there you can see the arches. The new windows don't have arches. The older ones do on the bottom level. We'll just zoom in. And thanks to the chain link fence, you can actually see through. And it looks like from here, it looks like cinder blocks. But I'm willing to wager those are stones, stone cut, polygonal stone, like we saw before, with new bricks in front of it, new bricks right next to it. So bricks, where the windows are square, there are bricks, and where the windows have the arches, underneath of those big stones, it's hard to see because it's paint peeling off of old masonry. So there we're coming up on Fordham Road, and basically Briggs ends. I didn't come this way, I came a different way. I was going to show you some different stuff. That's why I got a little turned around. But these houses have the same stuff here. They have the entrance going down under street level. And more of the same. These are kind of the old brownstone style. But they appear to be dug out. You know, even if they say, oh, they built them that way. Look at how deep this goes. A full story down, and it looks like windows have been bricked up. So it keeps going, 2 flights down here. And another one, the entrance for the basement is on the bottom, but then it looks like there's a sub-basement. The windows have been closed up. There's the alleyway in the back. And this is more the norm, where it's much harder to see. But you can see the old brickwork, arched windows back there, and they're not facing the street. They're facing each other on the inside. All the windows are arched, arches. So whatever that old style of architecture is that people are claiming is the Tartarian, it's here in the Bronx too. It's another big wall. And again, I was going to say the history of the Bronx is interesting. It's the only one of the 5 boroughs of New York that is part of mainland continental US. So here we are. This goes down to street level of the street in front, but then it also goes down deeper than that. Can I zoom in anymore? That's about as far as I can zoom in. So you can see the main street level from here. We've got stairs going down. I'll just back up and show you. We're flush with the floor, and there's a big wall, so you can't really see. There are arches there on the windows. Very hard to make out from this angle. If If you look carefully, I'll try to hold the camera steady. One window flat, the other two are arched. And then on this side, there's a ramp that goes down even further deep. So there's at least 2 floors beneath street level. And I'll just show you from here, this side. See how well you can make it out. See if you can see the arches on the windows there now. Those windows have arches. They're not flat. And that was this window, and you can see the security they have. A lot of places have barbed wire, razor wire. They don't want people breaking in. It's another, red brick house. Old stonework, it looks like. Here's another one. This more modern-ish glasswork. So we're on Coles Lane now, corner of Bainbridge and Coles Lane. We're still on Bainbridge. We're turning onto Coles Lane. You can see the alley there. Take another look. That was one alley. Here's the next one. We just there. Now here's graffiti and stuff. That's why they block a lot of this stuff up. People were using drugs. But you can see old brickwork down there. It's like a second foundation or something. Cemented, like this was cemented over. And it goes down to the side there, in between the buildings. There's that fence. And then it goes down even deeper. So it's hard to say, but you don't know. These look like old windows here. There's archwork that has obviously been covered up right there, where there's new bricks, where there used to be an arch. And so it's this building. You can see the fancy brickwork going up. There's the arch, big arch, big arch. And that's the Bronx Library Center right there. So if any Mudflood researchers are in the neighborhood, this is one place to check out. Here are more arches behind. You can't see through to the next street here, but arched windows right there, and arched windows with new square glass frames. And again, the alleys that go down deep. So old bricks behind the new bricks. See, this is just a new brick wall. You can see the old bricks there going back, going deep. And what it looks like they did was just put new bricks in front of the old bricks there. Maybe took out some stonework. There's a stone right there, stone base. And those are not cinder blocks. Those are definitely stuff there. The building has a stone wall at the bottom, and the nation is, however young, the work is much older. So whatever the this is the New York City Human Resources Administration, Department of Social Services, Fordham Job Center, which is right here in Bainbridge Avenue. Here's a church, and it looks like that church is real view between the buildings. But in this alleyway we were just looking down, boarded up windows, arches bricked up. There that has now has bricks all over it, covering the window. And this building next to it is the one that had the stone base, stone wall. So it's pretty fascinating stuff. On our way to the Bronx Library Center, this steep hill. There's stairs going up and a quote-unquote wheelchair accessible ramp going up. You'll see another stone that's kind of falling apart. And really little streets. We're on Coles and the corner of Poe Place. And again, the Edgar Allan Poe house, just a few blocks away up on near the corner of and Kingsbridge Road. So this is an old, just left, and I guess it's serving is the property. Now they say there's old Indian structures here, old, you know, the stonework may be Native American. And interesting history, Bronx, I was saying, is the only of the 5 boroughs of New York City that's part of the mainland continental U.S. The rest of it are islands. Brooklyn and Queens, of course, are on the southern tip of Long Island. Manhattan is its own island, and Staten Island is its own island. The Bronx is also the only borough whose county bears the same name, Bronx County. Oh, that's not true. There's also Queens County is the borough of Queens, but Brooklyn County is Kings County. Staten Island, the borough of Staten Island, its own island, is also called Richmond County. And Manhattan, the borough of Manhattan, is New York County. So Bronx and Queens counties bear their own name. That was my mistake. But it gets its name from the Bronx family. And it was they owned a farm, a Bronx farm, belonged to the Bronx family. And this is the way I had come down on Briggs Avenue, which goes down the same way, takes you right to the Bronx Library Center right here. And that is Fordham Road. So they dropped the apostrophe S, and they put the letter X, and that's how it became the Bronx. And it was a big farm. But if you talk to residents in Manhattan who have lived here for a few generations, northern Manhattan, only 100 years ago, still had Native Americans living here. And it was not developed. And so it's hard to say how many of these newer brick buildings are built on top of older stone buildings, older stone foundations. But we just saw a couple. And I got us this far. Again, I walked a bit of a zigzag. If you go up that way, up Kingsbridge, you'll get to the Edgar Allan Poe. I guess it's a cottage. And I can take you part of the way there, but I think I'm going to save that for another video. So that's enough of Bronx Mudflood Tartarian architecture. Today we saw arched windows, and we saw stone wall foundations under brick buildings, and the usual new bricks on top of the old bricks, and then floor levels of buildings that are as much as 1 or 2 flights below street level. We saw alleyways that are below street level in all directions, even despite the hills. And another time I may go up Briggs Avenue, but this is my bus I'm catching, so I gotta catch a bus, and I'll do more another day. I hope you enjoyed the Bronx Mudflood Tartarian architecture.